Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. Our webinar today titled Tax Planning for SMEs in Saudi Arabia, Maximizing Deductions, Leveraging Amnesty Extensions, and ZATCA Compliance. I am Rima, Partner Success Manager at Wafeq. Wafeq is a UAE and Saudi-based company offering accounting solution certified by both Tax and Custom Authority in Saudi Arabia and the FTA in UAE. I'm delighted to be here with you today, along with our guest, Mr. Salman. Hi, Mr. Salman.
Hi, Rima. How are you?
I'm, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you. First, Mr. Salman, thank you for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you here. Mr. Salman, I would like to hand the mic over to you to give us an introduction about yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Rima. Thank you for having me. Assalamu alaikum to everybody. This is Salman Khalid, and we are finance. I'm founder of Finance Fix, and I've been working in finance from over 19 years. My career started with finance. I started working in a bank, and then I went to Coca-Cola as finance. It's been 14 years here in Saudi, where I've been providing accounting and finance services here. And last 6 years, where I've been business head to specifically an accounting consultancy company. We provide customized accounting and finance solution to small medium businesses. We do have large companies. We work with audit firms. We work with consultancy companies, due to which we do have a very good exposure to current laws as per Saudi laws, and we are very well versed with VAT, withholding tax, and corporate tax and zakat. So inshallah, I'll be giving you, inshallah, briefly I'll be explaining how you can basically be efficient when it comes to taxes, withholding tax, zakat, corporate tax. And we have prepared a presentation. Inshallah, will be Rima will be assisting me as well. So if you have anything, please do ask question in the chat box, and we'll be inshallah able to answer end of the webinar. Right, Rima?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Salman. Thank you for the introduction. As well, we want to give like an intro about Finance Fix. Finance Fix is a team of professional accountants working flexibility and adequacy on assigned tasks, meeting limited deadlines when needed. Also, Finance Fix provide custom solutions for business owners and accounting professionals, and high quality service through a responsive and effective relationship with the clients. Okay, so Mr. Salman, the webinar objective today is to equip SMEs and accountants in Saudi Arabia with actionable strategies to optimize tax planning, legally minimize liabilities, and achieve full compliance with ZATCA regulations. We will focus on tax-related topics, including the extended tax amnesty program, sector-specific incentives under the vision of 2030, and mandatory digital compliance tools, practical examples and tools like ZATCA approved e-invoicing software will be emphasized to avoid penalties and improve financial sustainability. As Mr. Salman mentioned, please share us your questions in the Q&A box here. And before the end of this webinar, we will have some time to answer all of your questions with Mr. Salman, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Rima, for introducing Finance Fix and explaining the webinar itself.
Thank you.
These are the topics we'll be explaining, inshallah, briefly, and then, of course,
Sure.
whenever needed, we'll be able to explain. And inshallah, we'll try our best to cover everything what we have agreed Inshallah. So we have a list of topics we'll be discussing.
Sure.
Importance of tax planning for Saudi SMEs, deduction and incentives under KSA
Yes.
regulations, strategies to reduce tax liabilities, ZATCA's extended tax amnesty program for 2025, and digital tools for compliance and efficiency. And last, avoiding common ZATCA audit triggers. Right. So I guess we shall start now, since we will be
Yes.
short on time and we have quite some to explain.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, sure. So, Mr. Salman, with the first topic, we're going to talk about the importance of tax planning for SMEs, for Saudi SMEs, sorry. Mr. Salman, how does effective tax planning influence a company's cash flow and long-term growth? And additionally, how does it align with Saudi vision of 2030 goals?
Sure. Thank you so much, Uma. Of course, see, the effective tax planning, of course, plays a very crucial role in optimizing companies' financial health and aligning, especially with Saudi Vision 2030, which basically wants companies to basically be self-sufficient, tax efficient, and stay compliant, which will help, end of the day, to the economy of the country, and which is basically will help the economy, and the company will have an efficient market to work with. Of course, when it comes to the tax efficiency and planning and influence of cash flow on the company is like proper tax planning will assure a business to not to pay or overpay the taxes, allowing them to better liquidity, managing VAT refunds, inputs, credits efficiency, and avoiding the penalties, of course. And of course, if a company has a better controlled cash flow, this will allow the company to optimize not only the tax structure, but also they would have opportunity to reinvest the savings into expansion, innovation, workforce development, and especially when it comes to strategic tax planning helps business to qualify for incentives and exemptions that promote growth, of course. And when it, especially the second part, which is the aligning with VN 2030, the compliance will gain the credibility, making them attractive to the investors and government tenders. So if a company is well compliant and has no history with ZATCA for penalties, such companies are preferred on the government tenders. And of course, the tax revenues will contribute to national infrastructure, public services, and development goals, right? So delivery services and product outside of KSA will also be something which is government is looking for. Saudi Arabia wants to promote made in Saudi products. So this will be something add on to the Vision 2030, which inshallah will be explaining in the second part of our question and answers, right?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Salman, um, for your information. Okay, Mr. Salman, our second question, and the first topic, Mr. Salman, can you elaborate on ZATCA stance regarding legal tax optimization versus illegal tax evasion? What are some common mistakes, and what are some common mistakes that businesses should avoid to stay compliant?
See, ZATCA does allow the legal tax optimization while strictly penalizing the tax evasions. So let's discuss the first part, which is optimization, the legal part, which is having a proper structure VAT, which means if you really want to optimize your inputs or like the purchases, you need to have proper bills. Try purchasing from a registered supplier to so you can have the deduction on the purchases, and avoid purchasing without the bills. Normally this is something which happens especially with small medium businesses, F&B, retail businesses. They do buy from open market without the bills, which hits basically twice. Once when they file VAT, they are unable to claim VAT on such purchases without the bills or cash purchases. The second, ZATCA doesn't allow any deductions on zakat or corporate tax if you do not have the bill, if you're paying cash, even if the company happens to provide a payment proof in terms of a payment voucher or a receipt voucher from the supplier, it cannot be done, right? And on the second part, having gift expenses and marketing expenses are not deductible. So these should be not part of the VAT claims, right? And
Yes.
And the second, illegal evasions, where tax evasions are basically underreporting VAT liabilities, omitting transactions, especially the sales transaction, of course, and using fake bills. Since with the arrival of e-invoicing, this would be eliminated at all. So
Correct.
these are counted as illegal tax evasions, right? And the second part, what you have asked, is the common mistake what businesses make, especially to stay compliant and avoid penalties. The major is avoid doing or modifying the sequence of your invoices in e-invoice and writing complete notes on credit notes or issuing debit notes, both cases, and not to underreport VAT in any case, and uh, and mentioning all the customer advances to your VAT returns. Otherwise, by law, any amount you have received from a client should be subject to VAT and should be counted for VAT. So there are two things to be considered. Either you have issued an invoice, you should pay VAT to ZATCA, or if you have received an advance payment, means you have to consider the advance payment received, you should issue an invoice equal to the value of the amount received, right?
Correct.
So this will be something I guess would cover what you have asked.
Thank you, Mr. Salman. Okay, Mr. Salman, moving forward to our third question in this topic. Mr. Salman, what are the potential penalties for non-compliance with tax regulations in Saudi Arabia, and how significant are financial and reputational risk?
Yeah, reputational damage is too.
Yeah, especially with ZATCA increased the enforcement focus for 2025.
Sure. See, ZATCA has been very strict and with the tax evasions and underreporting the taxes. So ZATCA has put strict penalties, especially if a company is found, an entity is found to have incorrect declarations. They would be charged with a penalty of 25 to 50%, depending on the case. Like if a company has done a fraud, it would be 50% of the VAT amount will be the company will be penalized. Of course, they would have to pay a complete VAT amount plus a 50% penalty. And not to forget, if ZATCA has found something in a previous declared VAT returns, there will be an additional penalty of 5% on each month on the delay in the payments. So in such cases, ZATCA has been very strict. So it should be avoided. And of course, when it comes to the reputational damage, as I mentioned in the first, that while mentioning the Vision 2030, that if once a company is listed in ZATCA's books as a company which is doing the tax evasion, their reputation damage will be a lot, and they wouldn't be. The government would be considering them the tenders, of course, in the later stage. And of course, once a company is being found of the negligence or of fraud, they will have other tax. They would perform other tax violations, which will lead them to other strict consequences, and maybe in worst cases, closure of business as well. And the last part which you have asked is the ZATCA enforcement focus. With the arrival of e-invoicing, ZATCA has been overseeing all the sales and purchases now. So there will be increased audits during 2025, since with all the waves they have announced, means companies even around R1 million would be integrated, which means all kind of VAT inputs and outputs can be cross-checked by ZATCA. With the strong e-invoicing system which ZATCA has put, it will allow them to have a very strict compliance check on the clients. So phase 2 will basically eliminate all possibility of tax avoidance or underreporting. So it is recommended to have a very good accounting application which is strictly connected and integrated to ZATCA and have compliant invoices. Otherwise, there will be penalty on e-invoicing in 2025 as well.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Salman. Okay. Now, Mr. Salman, we are reaching topic 2 in today's webinar. We're going to talk about the deductions and incentives under KSA regulations. Mr. Salman, what key tax deduction can businesses in Saudi Arabia leverage, including operational expenses and sector-specific exemptions?
See, this question is basically focused on the corporate tax side, because when it comes to key deductions in terms of businesses, the leverage which being allotted by ZATCA is highly linked with the operational cost. It's not regarding the VAT, because when it comes to VAT is all declared purchases purchased from a supplier who is very well registered, and so those services are being sold or used for the operational expense. Here, the specific part will be what deductions a company can have in terms of corporate tax and zakat. So
Yes.
the allowed deductions are basically, which are standard ones: staff salaries, benefits, office rents, utilities, and digital transformation costs, marketing, advertisement, training, development, and a few miscellaneous and other costs. But there is a vital point to be mentioned, since for the people who have been listening to us. Because currently ZATCA has been looking into the operational expense which are subject to deductions, like staff salaries. If a company is putting a certain number in their financial statement as salaries, ZATCA has started with the, of course, with the integration between GOSI and Mudad and Kiwa, and we have with ZATCA and all that, Ministry of Commerce and all, they are connected. So they are able to check if you are eligible to have this much of salaries to be paid in your financial statement. So paying salaries on cash or paying to the employees who are not registered under your GOSI will be something later ZATCA under, if it comes under the audit, ZATCA would allow such deductions and will charge zakat or corporate tax on such things. Office rentals without contracts, since it's already integrated, ZATCA would be strictly checking on that as well. So having an office without the contract, maybe the auditor might be approving for now, but in the later stage, if ever found in ZATCA's compliance check, they will eliminate all those and will charge additional taxes on such things. And same to be done with all other costs. I understand that companies, they're using labor costs, and they hire labor from from the open market, which basically brings them to the point where they would be able to save some amount of money, since those labor salaries and daily costs are lower than the actual ones which are hired legally. ZATCA wouldn't be accepting all such deductions. So since with my current experience, I have been through all these, and I have noticed that ZATCA has been asking all the subcontractor contracts for all such cases where you do not have the bills, where you don't have the contract, the proof of payment. All these things will be needed, right? So when it comes to the part of even the purchases, it has to be through a proper channel. If you claim to have, if you have something with a purchase without properly purchased from a registered supplier, ZATCA will be eliminating such purchases and will charge the company an additional tax on it, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Salman, for clarifying this. Okay, Mr. Salman, our next question in this topic, how do depreciation rules and incentives for green investments impact financial planning?
Sure. This is very recent law which ZATCA has pushed recently, and this is still as bylaw is under discussions. What ZATCA has done initially has eliminated. Actually, they have proposed to eliminate the declining method of depreciation. They have pushed to use just the straight line method, and this is, of course, is under consideration. In such cases, the depreciation rule will change, especially businesses investing in the solar panels, EV charging stations, energy efficient equipment, and on the same time having all those green investments and sustainable practices. ZATCA will be allowing them a compensation on the taxes, but of course those are still under discussions, and we still need to have an update on it. Inshallah, if later we have it, maybe in a later webinar, we'll be able to explain anything which is recent.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, so Mr. Salman, here we have a question. What are the upcoming ZATCA updates in 2025 should businesses prepare for, particularly regarding the deductions for employee training, R&D, and ESG initiatives?
See, for the specific of small, medium businesses which we're discussing,
Yeah,
there's the first which I already mentioned is about the depreciation. And
yes,
of course, there are a few compensation ZATCA would be allowing after decision from the ministry on the tax compensations on renewable energy and all that. But on the same time, we have seen recently with our clients, they have been contacted by the Ministry of Human Resources Department to ask them, Gosi or Mudad, to register their employees, especially the employees who are under training, and they have allowed them to uh, put such costs into the tax deductions, and they are giving compensation to the companies as well. On the same time, a company has to have a specific quota for where they have to train employees. This is very new. Of course, all the businesses who are people who are into HR or management, they have seen that recently, like 2 weeks ago, they have pushed one of the update which stopped mostly services in Kiva and Mudad. That was basically for to fill in the information. So basically, Taminat and all the Ministry of Human Resources would be basically coming back with an update regarding to research and development expenditures and all that. But of course, all those expenses which government is pushing the companies, entities to perform are subject to tax reductions. And of course, there are other relaxation will be given to such companies which will follow the initiatives.
yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, so Mr. Salman, moving forward to our third. Okay, now we reached topic 3 together. We're
Sure.
going to talk about the strategies to reduce tax liabilities. Mr. Salman, how can businesses strategically reduce their tax liabilities, such as through that group st structuring?
Okay, sure. See, the tax reduction when it comes to, there are two things we have again discussing something as corporate tax or VAT, right? Especially if companies who restructure themselves to be a group of companies, they would have an edge over the
Yeah,
companies who are performing those separately, because transaction within the group are tax free, right? And it simplifies the compliance related issues and reduce the number of VAT returns. Of course, if a company has 4 different company branches or CRs, or located at different positions, if they do have a group of companies, they would be able to file one VAT returns, and they will it will be easy for them to monitor the compliance. And of course, it will help them improve and optimize cash flow, because it will be one
correct.
VAT return, and they'll have it will be easy to plan and optimize their cash flow. Okay, of course, they have a criteria for such things to be approved by ZATCA. And then we have the second part, which is setting up a holding company, which will basically optimize the tax liability by managing profits and losses across subsidiaries. Like since we understand, okay, if a company is having profits and there is a startup working under the same company, in such cases, the losses of one entity can be written off with the other. Of course, having the group VAT will help them manage that. And on the same time, to improve the cash flow, what companies can do, make sure to recognize their accruals on time, consider all the deferred revenues to be pushed to the period they are actually occurred, and same to be done with the expenses and all the things which are related to investing into capital activities, to put it in work in progress or capitalize them to
Correct,
have, yeah, have correct tax returns.
correct. Thank you, Mr. Salman. Okay, Mr. Salman, we will move together now to our, sorry, to our second question here in topic 3. Mr. Salman, what are the key record-keeping requirements for tax compliance, including e-invoicing and retention policies?
Sure. Uh, when it comes to e-invoicing, since we all are aware, because it's been already almost 80% of the companies been integrated, or they have been sent or informed by ZATCA.
Yes.
Yeah, the key requirements by ZATCA are to keep, first of all, to integrate the system with ZATCA and to keep 5 years records by law, which is being said. But in few cases, what we have seen, that ZATCA has asked from the clients up to 7 years of data. So keeping a record and having a very good accounting application, cloud-based, is vital, because having servers or desktop-based applications are in the long run can cause problems with ZATCA. Since we have already reached to phase 2, which means all systems are accounting applications are system compliant by ZATCA, so which is assumed as they are integrated, and their all sales are integrated to ZATCA, and all those data must be tamper-proof and real-time and connected to ZATCA all the time. And the retention of records is, of course, up to 5 years. But as I said, there are cases where ZATCA has asked up to 7 years. And if in absence of the proper record, would allow ZATCA to penalize the companies.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman, for answering this question and for your insightful information. Okay, Mr. Salman, moving forward to our third question, in topic 3, why is working with certified tax advisors crucial, and how can they help businesses stay compliant with ZATCA regulations?
Recently, as you know, ZATCA has been releasing updates every few time, especially with the new updates. ZATCA has given few relaxation. On the same time, they have put strict penalties as well. Working with an advisor helps basically companies to not only stay compliant, but they would also know the best practices which are being followed by the companies in the market, right? So ensuring compliance with Saudi laws will be possible if you have a tax advisor certified, especially, and then a certified advisor would be able to advise the company to basically do to avoid the risk of penalties and to plan the taxes, especially because by allocating all the expenses in during that period is vital, especially for the corporate tax, which is for the foreign companies paying 20% on the net income is tax, which basically you should be paying what is actually due. So make sure to record anything which is unpaid, accrued, go see for you for like costs which are not being recognized. Try best with your supplier, get all the bills. Make sure to record end of service benefits, which are as per Saudi law. But I would like to mention one point here with end of service benefits by ZATCA law. Yes, end of service benefits are part of your profit and loss sheet for the corporate tax, for the investors I'm mentioning, but they are only subject to deductions on the value of payment, not on the value of provision. If an employee is working from 10 years, you've been paying him, you've been recording provision for him for 10 years, you wouldn't be able to deduct from your corporate tax unless you pay him. So this is very important, right? And then on the same time, I would like to mention the pro advisor or anybody who is expert into taxes would be able to advise what incentive and legal optimization is possible, right? And the red flags, which are the only challenge because mashallah, ZATCA has been so integrated and very, very well informed. But whenever it comes to audit, sometimes ZATCA does open more than 1 year of the audit, and which cause companies quite hassle. So having a pro advisor with a good accounting application and management team to be well trained, so ever there would be an audit. So even a basic training to the management team should be there to help them basically counter that. Of course, and having a long-term tax advisor will help them not only eliminate the problems, they would also be compliant. And on the same time, if they have change in staff or careers for the team, this advisor would be able to always train and keep the new high staff compliant with the ZATCA laws.
That's totally correct. Thank you, Mr. Salman. for clarifying this. Okay, Mr. Salman, moving forward to topic 4. We're gonna talk about ZATCA Extended Tax Amnesty Program of 2025. Mr. Salman, who is eligible for ZATCA 2025 Tax Amnesty Program, and what benefits does it offer for SMEs with unpaid taxes?
See, especially this amnesty program was designed for the companies to those who haven't paid the VAT or withholding tax, or
Yeah.
they had penalties on late registration. ZATCA has been pushing this relaxation or this program, amnesty program, for like quite 2 years, and the goal is to for the taxpayers to be compliant, and it's 100% penalty waiver program, full exemptions from fines for late registration, late payment, late filing. Because if a company hasn't paid, let's say 100,000 real 5 years back, for example, so
Yes.
there is a penalty of 5% each year, which means over 5 years there is a penalty of 300%. So the tax liability would be 400,000 real. So if the taxpayer would be able to pay tax during this period, which is the recent extension is up to 30th June 2025.
Yeah.
So companies have two relaxation from ZATCA. First, all the penalties will be removed and they'll pay just the actual amount of tax. Second, they can convert the tax amount into the installment, which is a very good deal for all the companies which are not compliant or they have the penalties. And ZATCA will charge a lower percentage of partial interest on such cases, which is a very good deal for the companies who are struggling with cash flow. ZATCA is allowing that. All they have specific requirements. They need the bank statement and to approve that a company is unable to pay their penalties and VAT payments.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, moving forward with our next question.
Sure.
Mr. Salman, what are the risks of ignoring the amnesty program, and how can businesses apply to ensure compliance and avoid penalties?
Sure. Of course, ignoring such an amnesty program would be very hard on the company, especially all the penalties companies would have to pay. And
Correct.
in case of non-payment, ZATCA, since they are all integrated, all the ministries are integrated, non-payment of zakat or penalties related to taxes would result in closure of initially the activities at Kiwa and Mudad, and then it would lead to suspended activities on your CR, and then the last thing would be closure of the bank account, which would be a vital hit to a company which is operating. So, having said so, government will be having legal actions against the companies as well. So it's not recommended to follow such a practices where you would be ignoring this relaxation amnesty program from the government, and the companies should comply to it and should try to at least convert the tax payment to installment, which will help them not only have get rid of all those penalties, and they will have an easy way to pay the payments.
Correct. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, Mr. Salman, now we are moving to topic 5 here in today's webinar. We're going to talk about the digital tools for compliance and efficiency. Mr. Salman, how can ZATCA approved e-invoicing solutions like Wafeq help businesses automate VAT compliance and streamline tax filings?
Sure. Since with coming of the e-compliance solutions like Wafeq and the integration with ZATCA has put a proper check over the companies issuing all the invoices. Having a good application like Wafeq is vital, because a company who is compliant can focus on something else, on the business especially businesses must adopt the approved electronic invoicing system like Wafeq, which is right? So the reason to having an electronic application or a cloud-based application would help companies not only to maintain their revenues and collections and accounts receivables. On the same time, they would have a very good control over the tax filing. Having a cloud-based application would help the finance team and the management to basically file numbers and VAT returns correctly. And having correct VAT returns are vital because end of the year, it's ZATCA, the first thing ZATCA checks when you have performed or uploaded your zakat or corporate tax to match
Correct.
your VAT returns with your corporate tax. The revenue you have filed in your financial statement would be checked actually with the revenues you have filed in VAT and the corporate tax, vice versa, right? And of course, Wafeq will be able to generate VAT returns and for direct submission to ZATCA, and which basically the best part I like about Wafeq is Wafeq can help you customize the solution further. So if you are having other solutions or you're using an expense module, if you have an e-store, e-commerce, Wafeq will be able to not only integrate, can do a next level integration which will help you control your businesses, right? And but on the same time, it's an approved application by ZATCA, and ZATCA needs a real-time reporting which Wafeq has, and it basically reduces the discrepancy percentage, and compliance and assurance is very well assured,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, Mr. Salman, moving forward to our second question here. Before asking you the question, I would like to remind all attendees or the audience that please feel free to share us your questions in the Q&A box, and Mr. Salman will be answering them before the end of the webinar for sure. Okay, Mr. Salman, what role do digital tools play in real-time tax reporting and cash flow management to prevent discrepancies and liquidity issues?
Sure. Having an electronic application or cloud-based accounting application or an ERP is vital, especially when you work in a place in a country where like Saudi Arabia, where ZATCA has been not only very supportive but on the same time been very strict. So having a good accounting application that helps you not only manage your accounting records, on the same time can help you predict and project your cash flows and do the projections, right? Of course, application like Wafeq or any e-invoicing solution or ERP would help you anticipate the upcoming tax obligations, on the same time allowing the businesses to allocate funds properly. And of course, the electronic tool will help you monitor the liquidity, tracks cash flow in and outflows, and prevent shortages, right? And it helps you make the financial decision. And there is a very good thing which is Wafeq is integrated with a very good application named Kudwa, right? Rima is
Correct.
named Kudwa, right?
Kudwa, yes, correct.
Which is basically a very good tool for finance managers and CFOs to
Correct.
basically give you insights to your business. So that
Correct.
tool basically integrates with your accounting software and gives you all the dashboards and insights which a business owner needs to basically make the decision. And it's a very small tool. So having such tools or applications will not only help you with the cash flow, but to make the efficient decisions and decisions linked to the growth of the company. Understand if you have the shortage in cash flow, decision on projects. If you're talking about if you are into a construction company or contracting project-based companies, if you are a marketing agency, IT company, Wafeq will help you with the help of other tools like I mentioned Kudwa. There are other tools Wafeq is allowing to integrate, help you make smart decisions, and you can manage all those decisions from comfort of your mobile phone, right? And having all such tools, digital tools, will not only help you with management of your business, you will have ease and you can integrate with other applications which are related to HR, payroll, and having an application which is customizable is even vital, because this will allow you to manage your business from anywhere. And on the same time, if you're expanding your business to different locations, having a customizable solution is vital, and it's a brilliant idea to go with in future.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, Mr. Salman, moving to our last topic here, we're gonna talk about avoiding common ZATCA audit triggers. Mr. Salman, what are the most common mistakes that trigger ZATCA audits, and how can businesses avoid them?
Sure. See, the common mistakes are, I will start with the triggers first.
Sure.
What are the triggers, right? Because there are plenty, but the most one which will trigger ZATCA's audit is if you happen to have a not payable VAT collectible from ZATCA, right? If you want to say it's a credit VAT with ZATCA, or it's a positive number if you have, right? Like you have, for instance, I will give you an example. Like if you are a company who is importing products from outside, right? Let's say you have imported, I will give you an example from one of my clients. That client imported vehicles, cars from Dubai, from UAE, and they paid VAT on it. This is an old case. I understand currently there is no VAT, but for the luxury cars, there is VAT. So if the client, one of my client imported cars from UAE, and when they repaired the cars, they sold them outside again, which means you had, when you purchased, you had paid VAT. But when you exported, of course, there is no VAT for exports, right? So that would do what? That will, you will have a minus VAT, which means you should claim from ZATCA. Whenever you claim VAT from ZATCA, that will trigger the audit. Yeah. And this is the first check. The second check, if you happen to refund, if you happen to refund, you go with the refund option. This is an automated response from ZATCA, and they'll send you an audit and will ask you the quarterly trial balance if you're filing quarterly. If you're a large size or medium sized company over 40 million, they will ask you to give you monthly trial balance with an opening and closing balance, and with the movement as well. Right? They'll ask you the bank statement, will ask you all the suppliers statements, all the sales and purchase with the supplier name. So this is the first trigger. The other triggers which I would like to mention are like, this is with regards to VAT.
Yeah.
With regards to corporate tax and zakat, the triggers are if you are claiming, if you're deducting high amount of bonuses, allowances, commissions, you have miscellaneous expenses mentioned as like I would say hidden under miscellaneous expense, big numbers. This will trigger ZATCA to send you an audit. And on the same time, a part of it, this is all from my experience. If you have a difference between your salaries registered in GOSI and salaries filed in your zakat return or in corporate tax, right, in annual audits, this will trigger ZATCA for the tax. Okay, in such case, what you should do, there is a document which you should download from contribution for GOSI contribution letter from your portal. You should match your salaries. There comes the total of the salaries, right? So this is something. Okay, the other things are the mismatch of e-invoicing sequence number. This will trigger ZATCA because your sequence number is not there, right?
Yes.
On the same time, incorrect categorization of the VAT, okay, and claiming VAT on ineligible expenses, like claiming VAT, you have claimed on something which is a luxurious item, you had something which is not approved. And I would like to mention in between, because this is very important. Actually, it's a very extended part. I'll mention few examples from experience just for the audience to have something very important for them to file their corporate tax. I'm sure everybody is into filing their corporate tax and zakat since we are first quarter. So having claim deductions on which is luxurious item, having a car which is not registered under your business, which is not in Tamas Sayarat, which you have under your service company's portal. And if you even have the car registered under your name and it's a luxury car,
Yes.
are not subject to VAT deductions, not subject to corporate tax deduction or zakat deductions. Because the law says, as per the law, by ZATCA explains on it, that only those cars or vehicles are subject to deductions, like fuel, VAT on fuel can be deducted on only those vehicles which are used 100% specifically for the work purpose. Like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., end of the day, the vehicle should be parked outside of the office or of the warehouse, let's say, right? Any purchases which are without the VAT numbers and if went to ZATCA will be rejected, of course. And of course, before everything else, there is something delayed in VAT filing or payments. This will trigger audit as well from ZATCA, right? So the companies should be stay compliant strictly, and all those things I have mentioned will, inshallah, help you guys to do your filing not only with VAT, with corporate tax zakat properly. The proactive checks you can do is do the bank reconciliation, have a very good finance guy, train him well, hire a pro advisor if you could, right? Yes, Seema, yeah, well, I guess we are short on time. How many questions do we have later?
We have 4 questions.
Okay, I guess if we'll have had time at the end, I'll be able to explain further, right?
Sure,
So let's move to the next.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, Mr. Salman, what are the proactive steps such as bank reconciliation and internal audits can businesses take to ensure compliance and minimize audit risks?
Yeah. See, having, of course, the very important part, which I always mention, is the bank reconciliations are the most important part of finance when it comes to, because all those numbers and projections and valuations are built, and budgets are built on the numbers you have found, you have recorded in your bookkeeping records, right? So having a monthly bank reconciliation is vital. Having an accounting application, which I would like to mention, Rima, because you guys have very good option of payouts, right? Where you can integrate your bank with the Rima is payouts, right?
Payout, correct,
Yeah.
payout audience.
So integrating your bank with your accounting application, Wafeq has this recently added option, which is payouts. They are working on it actually, but I guess for the medium-sized companies, they still can make it available, right, Rima?
Correct. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
available.
So having a bank integrated with your accounting application is highly required for the companies. This will help you reconcile each and every transaction and categorize. Very easy, will save your time for your finance team, and they would be able to focus on something very productive, reporting and compliance issues. And of course, on the same time, having something which is having a good application, of course, is part of it. On the same time, to minimize the audit risk, what companies can do other than hiring a pro advisor, to employ all the electronic tools, having a good payroll system to integrate with your accounting application to account for all the deductions, the timesheets, the working hours, especially contracting companies, IT companies, or project-based companies would be able to allocate time and set overtime. This will help you when you file your corporate tax or zakat. You would be able to present an electronic proof that you have been what you have been claiming is actually being there, right? Since because there is a standard percentage of overtime which you can claim into your filing of corporate tax. So in that case, if you have a proper system employed, you would be able to claim all those deductions, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, and on the same time, if you are importing something from outside, it should be counted to make sure there is no risk. Always mention your imported goods into column row number 9, which is basically filing for reverse charge mechanism, even zero rated, right? And last but not the least, timely VAT return submissions and payments are vital to avoid all kind of risk from the internal audits, from the zakat audit, right?
Correct. Correct. Thank you, Mr. Salman, and thank you for all of your answers and your information. Mr. Salman, we are reaching together to the Q&A part in today's webinar. Okay, so let me read the questions for you
Sure.
to answer them. Okay, one of our audience, he's asking, is the webinar gonna be translated? I would like to answer this question.
Sure, please.
إن شاء الله أكيد حنحاول وحنشتغل على إنها تكون مترجمة بإذن الله، ونحن حنعرضها. تابعونا على قناتنا الرسمية في اليوتيوب، حيتم عرضها هناك إن شاء الله، وإن شاء الله يتم عرضها مترجمة بإذن الله. وشكرا. Okay. Mr. Salman, we have a question. He's saying, my question about down payment deduction and retention from a progress invoice.
Progressive invoice, yeah.
Is it down payment deduction with VAT, also retention deduction with VAT too?
Okay, I guess I got the point. Retention is basically a term which is used for construction companies where they have the construction projects. In that case, is what happens. The contractor would be asked to have 10% of retention, right?
Mhm.
The companies who basically allot the project, they keep a 10% of retention. Sometimes there are few cases where the contractor takes additional 10% of security, and there are few cases. But what he's asking is how to treat the retention amount. Okay.
Yes.
Any amount you are getting in terms of retention or advances, because I understand the retention amount is the amount which is adjusted at the end of the project. Like if you have a project for ~1,000,000 and you had a retention of 10%, and once you finish the project, this ~100,000 will be part of the final payment of the project, right? In such cases, see, I understand all accounting applications that struggle to fix the issue, because you cannot issue an invoice for a retention amount because your client wouldn't agree to issue an invoice for such an amount, right? But in your case, it's ideally it's ideal to pay VAT on such amount and issue an invoice to stay compliant, right? Okay, that was the answer. That's right.
Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Salman, we have a question. Sorry, bonuses and sales commissions for the employees could be deducted from profit and accordingly from income tax or not?
See, for the commissions, ZATCA has it's the what it is being like what they ask you, they would allow you to put the commission into in your registered salary in GOSI.
Yes.
But if you register your salary in GOSI as commissions, they will charge you 2% of GOSI as a tax, right? Okay. Any other commissions, if you are paying, there are two kinds of commission. I understand. I know the market, how market is. There are two kinds of commission. There are one which is internally.
Yes.
The second, which you pay for the referrals outside. Referrals not allowed mostly. Okay. Small amounts are no problem. Okay. I'll just there are a few things I'll give you an untraditional way, but those are coming from my experience, right?
Yes.
So yeah. So if you have a commission amount in a fair percentage, right? Like something under 30-40,000 real is acceptable numbers, right? Any bigger number can be counted, and same to be done with the bonuses. See, those things I can tell you with my experience. Of course, bonuses are subject to deductions, but up to a limited number. And ZATCA can ask you, in case your amount of bonus is high, ZATCA can ask you to allocate such bonuses from the owner's account to the retained earning, right? Small numbers are okay. If you rephrase it to allowances, would be more better. If you say if you allow allowances is better. Yeah, this is yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Salman, for answering this question. Okay, Mr. Salman, we have another question. If the owner is the general manager and registered at GOSI, should his salary be deducted from income tax or no?
Okay. Now, I understand because we do have investors as clients, and we understand the problem is comes to this, and this normally, since an owner of the company is the one who is the GM of the company, CEO, and would take a good amount of salary, over 25 to 30,000 real a month. That would be about for 360 or up to 500 to 600,000 reals. And I see
Yeah.
there are I will answer that with my experience, because there are few things you will I'm sure you have read over the internet. Everybody does, right?
Correct.
I'll give you my advice from my experience, and you follow it through. Uh, One of my client had this inquiry when this started in 2018 or 19. So he was being called and was informed to get himself registered into GOSI. He did
Yes.
register. He put salaries. After 3 years, he got an inquiry from ZATCA, and ZATCA strictly did not allow him to put his salary into the expense. Even he was being paying GOSI, he was part of the managerial team, and he was the guy who was delivering. He was the GM of the company. He was
Correct.
working. Actually, he was not a sleeping partner, right?
Yeah.
It's untraditional advice, but this is with my experience. For Saudi partners, salaries are acceptable, uh, and you may consider as allowance, because you're paying 20%, they pay 2.5%. So for
Correct.
Saudi partners, of course, there are relaxation for Saudi partners. So your salary should not be there as salaries. So with my experience, with the auditors we work across, there are diverse opinion. But
Yes.
just from one of the guy, he said their salary is up to 45,000 riyal, but this is not true, because I have been part of those inquiries from ZATCA. ZATCA did eliminate all the salaries, not only for the owner, and it's a very valuable information for all the investors. I would like to tell you, not your salary, even your blood relation salaries are not acceptable. Anybody with the same surname, their salaries will be eliminated. This is one with my experience. And for you to make sure that you stay compliant, and owner salaries are, or either in any case, because maybe this is for my client has a different article association or something, but I'm sure he was the partner, he was the part of the management team. So we've been performing his audit for like 8 years. So salaries for the owners are not allowed to be part of the salaries. And every
Yeah.
year we are being asked by the auditors, please do not include salaries for the owners. So this is the case. So this is from my side not recommended to put as salaries, or try your best to check with your account manager in ZATCA, because I understand for the investors there is an dedicated account manager from ZATCA who can basically clear that confusion. But to our experience, this is the case.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, Mr. Salman, we have two more questions.
Okay.
W- there's a question: when it comes to annual zakat calculations, how can
Mhm.
we include overseas purchases, GUSI, and other expenses which are not vatable but reduce our profits?
Sorry, I couldn't get over.
Sh-
They said
sh-
overseas.
Yes, when it comes to annual zakat calculations, I think they are referring to the zakat or to the corporate tax,
It
to the
goes
corporate income
goes
tax.
Yeah, anything if you're paying for your employees as GOSI, rentals, or overheads for the employees
Yeah,
accommodations, transportation, housing, food is subject to deduction. You may put it in, but since they are not being charged, there is no top up of VAT on top of those payments, because government does not charge you VAT on the payments, like
yes,
Ikama renewals, anything. If you see a renewal, there are no VAT amounts, top ups on that. So you're not
correct.
allowed to reduce VAT on such payments. Yes, they are subject to be included into your zakat return or your corporate tax, and subject to deductions. So zakat or corporate tax should be charged after those deductions are included to your expenses.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. Okay, Mr. Salman, one of the audience is asking, can I please arrange a call as we don't have any accounts staff or accountant and need consultancy service?
Oh, okay, perfect. Sure. Why
Yeah.
not? I would say that at end of the question and answers. Rima, do we have another question?
No, we don't have any other questions.
Okay. Okay, I would like to invite anybody who is part of this webinar to, if you need a consultation, if you're based in Jeddah or Riyadh, we would be able to not only provide you a free consultation if you want to visit our office here in Jeddah or Riyadh, or if you want, it depends what kind of advisory services you would need, or consultancy services are required. We will be able to provide you consultancy for free. The initial consultation will be free. If you need an audit consultancy, you're looking for a better audit offices, you're looking for a better audit services or accounting services, we are available, and inshallah we'll be able to respond. You may contact me over LinkedIn, Finance Fix page. You may contact Rima as well.
Correct.
She is our strategic partner, and inshallah whatever we could give you as knowledge, as information, can help you, support you with your business activities, we will, inshallah.
And
And our offices are available here in Jeddah and Riyadh. You may contact me on my mobile number. You may reach to our website, contact me at salman@finance-fix.com. Inshallah, I'll be able to explain anything you would want, and we'll be able to help you out, inshallah.
thank you so much, Mr. Salman, and thank you for offering this for the audience here. We really appreciate that. We have one last question. I would like to answer this question. One of the audience is asking if there is a certificate for this webinar. I would like to answer, there is no certificate for this webinar. لا يوجد شهادة حضور لهذه الندوة. And thank you so much. And regarding the consultation, you can find our partner Finance Fix in our listing page, find an accountant, and also you can reach our support team and ask them to um, to get contact with me, and I will be for sure getting you contact with Mr. Salman for sure. Thank you for your time, Mr. Salman, and thank you everyone also for being with here us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rima. And I would want to mention one thing, that
Sure.
the consultation they would need, if they would need in Arabic, we would be able to provide somebody in Arabic for audit office. Of course, we have an Arabic team. For our accounting consultancy, Finance Fix, we do have a diverse team. We speak all languages: Arabic, English, Hindi, Urdu, right? So we have diverse team. So inshallah we'll be able to answer all the questions, whatever language they prefer. Right.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman. And thank you, everyone.
Contact with you, inshallah, in another webinar, inshallah. So,
Inshallah. Thank you. Have a nice day, Mr. Salman, and have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.
thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.